Hello students, this is part 2 of chapter 2, Is Matter Around Us Pure? I hope you enjoyed the part 1 of this chapter. In this part 2, we'll study the separating the components of a mixture, types of change, and then types of pure substances. So let me start here with separating the components of a mixture. Heterogeneous mixture can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical method like handpicking, sieving, filtration, and these are our methods that we use in our day-to-day life. Sometimes we use some special techniques also to separate the components of a mixture. So one by one we will see what are these special techniques that we use in our daily life and in laboratory to separate the components of mixture. These are very simple methods that we are using in our homes also to separate one part of a substance from another part. Handpicking, winnowing, threshing, sieving, filtration, centrifugation, decantation with the help of magnet, and that is distillation. So these are some methods that are used for separating the components of a mixture. How can we obtain colored component or dye from a blue black ink? For that, an experiment is done. In this experiment, you have to take a beaker and fill this beaker half with water. Now put a watch glass on the mouth of the beaker and put few drops of ink on the watch glass. Now start heating. We don't want to heat the ink directly. Now we'll see that evaporation is taking place from the watch glass. Now continue heating as the evaporation goes on and stop heating when you don't see any further change on the watch glass. What do you see here? What do you observe? And what is your interpretation? Is ink a single substance or it is a mixture? We find that the ink is a mixture of a dye in water. Thus, we can separate the volatile component from its non-volatile component by the method of evaporation. How can we separate cream for milk? To separate cream for milk, we use the method centrifugation. And the principle of centrifugation is that the denser particles are forced to the bottom and the lighter particles they stay at the top when spun rapidly. How can we separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids? Immiscible liquids means the liquids those do not get mixed together easily and they do not form a homogeneous mixture. To separate these type of liquids, there is a method and we use a separating funnel for that. The principle of this process is that the immiscible liquids separate out in the layers depending on their densities. The low density liquid will be at the upper side of the funnel and high density liquids will be at the bottom, and we can separate them out by using this tap. What are the application of this method? This method is used to separate mixture of oil and water, and it is used in the extraction of iron from its ore. The lighter slag is removed from the top by this method to leave the molten iron at the bottom in the furnace. How can we separate a mixture of salt and camphor? You know, camphor is the substance that show sublimation. Sublimation means direct change from solid to gas. So to separate the mixture that contains a sublimable volate component from a non-sublimable impurity, the sublimation process is used. Here, what is a volatile component? That is camphor. And what is non-volatile component? That is salt. So what we'll do? We'll use this method simply. We will take some ammonium chloride or camphor in this china dish. This experiment we have done in chapter 1 also, if you remember. There we were studying about sublimation. At that time we did the same experiment. So to separate such mixtures that contain a sublimable vowel component from a non-sublimable impurity, the sublimation process is used. Ammonium chloride, camphor, naphthalene, anthracene, these are the substances that show sublimation. When we give heat, what will happen? This ammonium chloride will be changed from solid to gas, and then it will be condensed over here at the surfaces of this funnel, and that can be separated out later on. Here is the sublimation of dry ice. It is directly converting from solid to gas. Is the dye in black ink a single color or not? Which method is used to find out this? Take a thin strip of filter paper and draw a line on it using a pencil. Approximately 3 to 4 centimeter above the lower edge. Now put a small drop of ink. The ink should be water soluble, and that you can use a sketch pen also or a fountain pen also. Now put the drop of the ink at the center of this line. What do you see? After drying, lower the filter paper into a jar, glass or beaker or test tube that is containing water, so that the drop of the ink on the paper is just above the water level. As here you can see in the figure, what observe carefully as the water rises up on the filter paper and record your observation. What do you observe? On the filter paper, as the water rises on it, what happens? Do you obtain different colors on the filter paper strip? Yes. That proves that dye in black ink is not a single color. The ink that we use has water as the solvent and the dye is soluble in it. As the water rises on the filter paper, it takes along with it the dye particles. Usually, a dye is a mixture of two or more colors. The colored component that is more soluble in water rises faster, and in this way the color gets separated. And this method is known as chromatography. Chromatography is a technique for the separation of a mixture by passing it in solution or suspension through a medium in which the components move at different rates. Here is the animation that shows what is chromatography. Just observe it. How does it happen? Clearly it can be seen at different levels. Different colors get separated. That is chromatography. What are the application of chromatography? Chromatography is used to separate colors in a dye and to separate pigments from natural colors and to separate drugs from blood. How can we separate a mixture of two miscible liquids? We use distillation of two miscible liquids to separate them. The method distillation is used for the separation of components of a mixture containing two miscible liquids and that boil without decomposition and have sufficient difference in their boiling points. Simply, if we say there are two liquids, they are mixed with each other and they form a homogeneous mixture. When we heat them, what will happen? The first liquid whose boiling point is lower will convert into vapors. That vapors we will connect with the help of a condensation tube, and after that liquid will be connected into the separate vessel. So one liquid will be separated over here and another will be in this jar. So this way both the liquids can be separated. When two liquids which are miscible in each other but they have a difference in their boiling points less than 25 K. At that time, fractional distillation process is used. For example, the separation of different gases from air, that is a fractional distillation process. In distillation and in fractional distillation, the apparatus used is similar. Only a small difference is seen, and that is in simple fractioning column is a tube packed with the glass beads. The beads provide surface for the vapors to cool and condense rapidly, and that you can see in this picture. This is fractional column, and this is the only difference in simple distillation and in fractioning distillation. Thermometer to measure the temperature. This is the way to come out the water, and from here one by one we can take the separate solutions. How can we obtain different gases from air? As you know, air is the mixture of different gases. One by one we can separate out the gases from air. Air is a homogeneous mixture and can be separated out into its component by using the fractional distillation method that we have learned just in last slide. Here I will show you the flow diagram of this process, and one by one I will explain the steps. The first thing is air, and when air is compressed and cool by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature, what will happen? The air will be converted into liquid. Now it will allow to warm up slowly in the fractional distillation column. Now we notice the gases get separate at different heights according to their boiling point. And here are the details about oxygen, argon and nitrogen. Boiling point of oxygen is minus 183 degrees C, of argon minus 186 degrees C, and nitrogen minus 196 degrees C. How much percentage air by volume is collected? That is 20.9, 0.9 and 78.1, and that is the arrangement used to separate gases from air. How can we obtain pure copper sulfate from an impure sample? Here you can see in picture stepwise the method is shown. Solution of one solid and insoluble impurity. Now first thing what we will do, filter off excess solid. जो एक्स्ट्रा सॉलिड है उसको छान लेने का, फिल्टर कर देने का. Then collect it into evaporating dish. Supply heat. What will happen? The volume of the solution will be decrease. आपको जो मटेरियल है वो कम हो जाएगा. Now transfer that hot liquid to a dish and where crystals will be formed after leaving to cool until solution is saturated. So that is the process of obtaining pure copper sulfate from an impure sample. And this method is known as crystallization method, and that is used to purify solids. Crystallization technique is better than the simple evaporation technique. Why? Because sometimes what happens, some solids decompose or some like sugar may get charred on heating to dryness. Sometimes some impurities may remain dissolved in the solution even after filtration. And on evaporation, these impurities contaminated the solid. That is why crystallization is a better technique in the comparison of simple evaporation. Now here you can see crystallization of copper sulfate, that is the animation. Carefully observe the things. The blue solution is of copper sulfate. It is pouring. Crystals of copper sulfate are collected on the thread, and that is crystallization of copper sulfate. Applications of crystallization. Crystallization is used in purification of salt that we get from seawater and separation of crystals of alum. Alum means the fitkari. Everybody use it in their home to clean water. Separation of crystal of alum from impure samples. Crystallization method is used. Water purification. Water is supplied in our houses after passing from some departments one by one, and these steps are sedimentation, filtration, and chlorination. Direct water is not used from any source of water. Stepwise it is purified, and then the end of the system, the end of the process, it is supplied to our houses. One by one the steps are explained over here. You can observe sedimentation, then filtration, and then chlorination, clear well, and then it is separated to houses. Physical change. In a physical change, only physical properties such as color, physical state, density, volume are changed, but the chemical properties of the substance remain unchanged. In physical change, no new substance is formed, and very little or sometimes even no energy in the form of heat, light, or sound is absorbed during a physical change. And as a physical change is a temporary change. The original form of the substance can be regained by simple physical methods, and physical change is reversible. Melting of ice is a physical change. Why? Because in this process only physical state is changing. When it is in solid state, means it is ice, then also it is H2O. The chemical properties are same. When it is liquid, then also it is H2O, and properties of ice and water are same. So chemical properties does not change, only physical state of the substance is changed during physical change. Cutting of wood. When we are cutting the wood, only shape of the wood is getting changed. Properties of the wood are not getting changed, no matter what do we do with this wood. If we use it in furniture or we do it for other purpose, we are using that. Only physical properties will be changed, but the chemical property of wood will not be changed. So that is physical change. Chemical change. In a chemical change, total chemical composition of the substance undergo a change. Chemical properties are changed. Here, a new substance is formed. And a chemical change is always accompanied by absorption or evolution of energy. कोई भी chemical change होता है तो उसमें energy या तो use होती है या energy release होती है. Physical change में ऐसा नहीं था. Or chemical change is a permanent change. It cannot be reversible. Original substance cannot be obtained by simple physical method if chemical change occurred. Burning of a matchstick, that is a chemical change. And explosion of star is also chemical change. What are the types of pure substances? There are two types, number one elements and then compounds. Here we'll learn about elements. Robert Boyle was the first scientist to use the term element in 1661. This is Robert Boyle. And then Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, a French chemist, was the first to establish an experimentally useful definition of an element. According to him, what is the element? Let us see. He is Lavoisier. Element is a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. This is the definition of element given by Lavoisier. Element कोई भी मैटर का वो सब्सटेंस सबसे छोटा बेसिक फॉर्म है जिसको हम आगे ब्रेक नहीं कर सकते हैं. That is element. Here you can see the molecules of elements. In any element, the atoms are same, H and H. Molecule of hydrogen, H or H. Molecules of oxygen, O and O. Molecule of chlorine, Cl and Cl. In an element, if there is a molecule of the substance, atoms will be same. Atom will not be changed. Here is some information about element that I have taken from a textbook, page number 25. The number of elements known at present are more than 100. Out of those, 92 elements are naturally occurring and the rest are man-made. They are synthetic, they are prepared in laboratories by scientists. Most of the elements are solid. 11 elements are in gaseous state at room temperature. Out of those elements, 2 elements are liquid at room temperature and they are mercury and bromine. Gallium and cesium, they are very special elements and they become liquid at a temperature slightly above room temperature. Even आप अपने हाथ पर भी रखते हैं तो वो तुरंत पिघलना शुरू हो जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट बहुत ही कम, मेल्टिंग पॉइंट बहुत ही कम होता है. Elements can be divided into metals, non-metals and metalloid. Metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we will learn about the properties of metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals. Metals are lustrous, means उनमें shining होती है, चमकती हैं. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को और हीट को कंडक्ट करती हैं. मेटल्स आर डक्टाइल. डक्टाइल मीन्स मेटल्स के वायर हम खींचे जा सकते हैं. metals are malleable means they can be hammered, उसको बारीक शीट में कन्वर्ट किया जा सकता है। एंड मेटल्स आर सोनोरस, वो एक रिंगिंग साउंड प्रोड्यूस करती हैं। एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ मेटल्स आर गोल्ड, सिल्वर, आयरन, मर्क्यूरी। दिस इज मर्क्यूरी। At room temperature it is found in liquid state. Except mercury, all the metals are solid. Non-metals. Non-metals are colorful and they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Except graphite, non-metals do not conduct electricity and heat. They do not have shine. That is why they are not lustrous, they are not sonorous. आवाज नहीं करती है non-metals. They are not ductile, they are not malleable. नॉन मेटल्स को ना वायर बना सकते हैं और ना ही शीट बना सकते हैं। एग्जाम्पल ऑफ नॉन मेटल्स आर कार्बन, ऑक्सीजन एंड ब्रोमीन। दिस इज कार्बन। नाउ मेटलॉइड्स। Some elements they have intermediate properties between those of metals and non-metals, and they are very special substances. They are called metalloids. That is silicon, boron, and germanium. That is the picture of silicon. The another form of types of pure substances, that is compound. A compound is a substance composed of two or more elements. Read carefully, two or more than two elements. These elements combine chemically with one another in a fixed proportion. For example, this is the molecule of H2O. H2O is compound. It is made up of two elements, H and O, and the formula is H2O. Here I have used one word, fixed proportion, means anywhere you go, if you are studying the compound H2O, the formula will be same, H2O. It is never going to be changed. The proportion of hydrogen and oxygen is always same in compound water. The another example is HCl. You can see the molecule of HCl, atom of hydrogen and atom of chlorine. That is HCl. Some other examples of molecules are here. Water molecule, ammonia molecule, carbon dioxide, methane. These are the molecules. CH4, CO2, H2O, NH3. Mixture and compounds. What is the difference between mixture and compound? Elements or compounds, they mix together to form a mixture and no new compound is formed. दो या दो से ज्यादा एलिमेंट्स या कंपाउंड को आप फिजिकली मिक्स कर सकते हैं, कोई नया कंपाउंड नहीं बनता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल शुगर, चीनी, नमक, उसको आप चम्मच से, स्पून से एक बाउल में मिक्स कर लो तो दैट इज मिक्सचर, पर कुछ नया कंपाउंड नहीं बना, वो मिक्सचर में नमक भी है और शुगर भी है, सो दैट इज मिक्सचर। और मिक्सचर का कोई फिक्स कॉम्पोजिशन नहीं होता है, दे हैव वेरिएबल कंपोजिशन। आप 2 स्पून शुगर ले सकते हैं, आप 3 स्पून शुगर ले सकते हैं, दैट इज अप टू यू। A mixture shows the properties of the constituent substance. मिक्सचर के अंदर जो भी सब्सटेंस होते हैं उनकी प्रॉपर्टी रिटेन रहती है। शुगर और सॉल्ट को मिलाने के बाद भी शुगर का प्रॉपर्टी चेंज नहीं होगा, सॉल्ट का प्रॉपर्टी चेंज नहीं होगा, सो दे विल बी हैविंग देयर ओन प्रॉपर्टीज। The constituents can be separated fairly easily by physical method. अगर आप शुगर, सॉल्ट, सैंड, ये सबके मिक्सचर को सेपरेट करना चाहते हैं, यू कैन सेपरेट देम बाय एनी फिजिकल मेथड। फिल्टर कर सकते हैं, पानी में गर्म करके इवोपरेट कर सकते हैं। सो मिक्सचर्स में से कंपाउंड मिक्सचर के कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट कैन बी सेपरेटेड बाय फिजिकल मेथड। नाउ व्हाट अबाउट कंपाउंड? एलिमेंट्स रिएक्ट टू फॉर्म न्यू कंपाउंड्स। केमिकल रिएक्शन होता है तभी कोई नया कंपाउंड बनता है, और जो न्यू सब्सटेंस बनता है उसका कॉम्पोजिशन ऑलवेज फिक्स रहता है। एज आई टोल्ड यू H2O, तो H2O में H और O का कंपोजिशन, ये जो H2O का प्रोपोर्शन है, दैट विल बी सेम ऑलवेज। एनीवेयर यू गो, water formula will be H2O only. The proportion of hydrogen and oxygen is fixed. The new substance has totally different properties. See, H2O is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen has its own properties, oxygen has its own properties, but when they combine and form a new substance, this new substance has totally different properties. And the constituent can be separated only by chemical method or electrochemical reactions. H2O में से आप H और O को separate नहीं कर सकते हैं. If you want to separate it, you are supposed to go for any chemical reaction. That was the difference between mixture and compound. All compounds are molecules, but all molecules are not compound. Repeat it. All compounds are molecules, but all the molecules are not compound. This is a chart of matter. Matter is solid, liquid, or gas. In any form, matter is found. Pure substance and mixtures. Mixtures have no fixed composition, and mixtures are homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixture have uniform composition. Heterogeneous mixture have non-uniform composition. Example of homogeneous mixtures are sugar in water, salt in water, that is uniform composition. Heterogeneous mixture are sand and salt, sugar and salt, that is heterogeneous mixture. Pure substances are elements and compounds. Elements cannot be broken down in the simpler substance. Compounds have fixed composition and they can be broken down into elements. Why? Because they are made up of elements. Example of elements are copper, oxygen, iron, mercury. And compounds के example हैं water, methane, sugar, glucose, that is compound. So students, this is your chapter 2. Chapter 2 is over, and I think you enjoyed the chapter, you enjoyed the topics, you enjoyed the animation giving over here, and now topics are clear to you. Thank you once again. Now we will meet for chapter 3 in our next session.